Well, illness took away the one thing that he couldn't function without over the past 3 years, but it was the very same music that healed him. Well, we're referring to renowned South African trumpeter Feya Faku, who had taken a 3-year absence from music scene due to illness, but he's back to full health and returns with the release of his 2 albums, Impilo and Live at the Bird's Eye. Faku joins us on Zoom to tell us more about the 2 projects and taking them on a tour that's happening throughout the month of March. Feya Faku, good morning. Welcome to Morning Live. Good to see you again. I mean, how would you describe the past couple of months or years when illness took away the one thing that you love the most, music?
It was the roughest period in my entire life, to be without music, to not, play my instrument, because I have this serious relationship with the music.
What lessons came with this period? I mean, it also forced you to reflect. What did it teach you about your love for music and what it means to you personally?
It taught me to be more patient. Yes, I am a patient person, but I became more patient, and I had to deal with self a lot, kind of reflect. Actually, I am a person who reflects a lot, I like to spend time on my own, Something I learned from people like, Big Msele, who I had a lot of time with him, spent a lot of time with him in Devon, He taught me not to be afraid of loneliness. It's good because, when you're alone, you're so relaxed, and you stay the whole week at home, but once you come out, you have all these, funny things and energy that come your way, That is why the great Mangungu was said, sometimes you get all these things, you must just, wear a helmet and move on with all these, stones and whatever, tablets of life,
I want to talk about Impilo. It's 2 projects that are out at the moment, but let's start with Impilo. What's the inspiration behind it?
The inspiration comes from a great friend of mine, David Everest from Santiago de Cuba, who I met in the year 2000 in Santiago. A great piano player, a very humble person, who used to work with a great number of musicians in the world. He's an ECM recording artist. He's worked with Ravi Coltrane, with Thomas Tanko, one of my great musicians. I don't want to drop names and all of that. That's not my thing. But, I'm very humbled by the fact that he really worked with me. He came here in South Africa 2020 to do the festival in Cape Town, the Rolex thing, with what's his name, Marcus Gilmore, the son of Roy Haynes. And I remember Sia, Makuzeni, and the Cock guy, Fasi Cock, the trumpet player. They were performing with Marcus Gilmore.
Yeah.
And before he came, he told me that, hey, Feya, I'm coming to South Africa. It would be nice to meet you in your country. I was in Joburg at the time, and they were performing in Cape Town. He's like my brother. And I said, okay, I'll make a plan. So I bought a ticket. I went to see him, as sick as I was, So, and then we talked. And he felt that the time for us to start collaborating again, we should do something together with a more South African thing in it. And then later on we mix the Cuban thing with South Africa. He wanted more piano with trumpet and not even drums, like percussion, just a tree, I mean, like this recording was meant to be a duet as well, but
Yeah.
we incorporated Switzerland, so it's 3 continents.
Yeah.
And yeah,
I mean,
and then I went to Switzerland, and we met in Switzerland. You know, I don't know, by luck, his teaches there as well, and that is how the recording was. That's how it started. Actually,
Yeah.
It was not meant to be. You know, it was very spontaneous.
is that how the Bird's Eye as well, live at the Bird's Eye, also came into the picture?
The Bird's Eye, you know, I went there for residency, for composition, to write music, you know. I think they just wanted me to go there for, you know, just a change of environment, you know, to be. It was more like a retreat, you know, to me. I mean, Switzerland has been very good to me since the year 2004. Yeah, I went with Begim Selegu. Yeah, we did a Swiss tour. Yeah, and that's when it started. Actually, this residency thing was started by the great drummer who's no longer with us, Lulu Gonzan, but he passed on prematurely, you know. And I was preparing music for him, you know, and that is how that album, The Colors They Bring, you know, but you know, he left us, and and it never stopped. Yeah.
What do you think that the Begim Selego would think of these 2 projects?
He would have loved them very much, you know, because he will hear his influence on David. Because when I was in Cuba, 2000, I introduced him to South African music, like South African piano players, and I had brought music of Abdullah and Begi, you know, and all the other cats like Bana, Rachaban, and Duke Makas, and some, you know, jazz albums, you know, and I remember giving them the stuff. Some I left with them because they couldn't buy music from other countries, you know,
Okay, so you're taking the albums on tour. I want to talk about that. Where are you heading to next? You were in Gqeberha last night, your hometown. Where are you heading to next?
This afternoon, I'm playing in my township. We'll play in the streets there for free for our people, you know, just to enjoy the music. And we started at 5 this afternoon. And then we will go to Johannesburg. We'll play Marabi on the 11th of March. And then the following day, the 12th, we play Etikeni in Senti. Then from there we go to Cape Town. On the 19th, we play at the place called the Young Blood Gallery. That's the 19th. And the 20th, we play in the township again in Guguleji, Wasek. Yeah, and then on March 25, you know, have another break. We play the Jazz Center in Durban.
All right. Feya Faku, so good to see you back. Thank you so much for talking to us about your projects. Good luck with the tour. Renowned South African trumpeter Feya Faku speaking to us about his new albums Impilo and Live at the Bird's Eye. These are Faku's first releases since 2016 and is taking them on tour from Gqeberha, which is today. He had a performance last night, and then he heads to Durban from the 26th, which is yesterday, to the 26th of March, month-long tour of the 2 albums.